Welcome to the F.S.A. Knowledge Share presentation for reviewing Procurement Card, referred to as PCard, transactions in Smart Data. Smart Data is a third-party system used by G.L.W.A. to reconcile and account for all transactions made using a PCard. This process is required for all PCard holders and cardholder delegates to know and be able to complete. This presentation will help cardholders identify acceptable supporting documentation, explain the process of reconciling receipts, and provide information on the PCard program and administrators. Handwritten receipts are accepted only when accompanied by a MasterCard receipt. All of these requirements must be met before a receipt is considered acceptable supporting documentation. If only the handwritten receipt or only the MasterCard receipt is submitted, the receipt is considered unacceptable. Food and beverage purchases may only be procured for public or group meetings as outlined in the PCard policy. Catering and restaurant receipts require not only an itemized receipt, but also a list of personnel who attended the event or meeting. Meals should not exceed $10 per person. Before reviewing transactions, be sure to save your supporting documentation to your computer as a single file to upload. Now this video will walk you through how to review a transaction in the Smart Data system. You will first go to the MasterCard Smart Data website and log in, and look at your transaction history. Selecting the date range for transactions is optional, but please be aware that the date range is auto-selected as the last 30 days. You can change this and search whatever range you would like. You can also select that type of transaction you want to see. For example, all is the auto selection, but you can change it to not reviewed in the drop-down selection. Once you have selected your date range and click search, you will complete the following steps for each transaction. Step 1. Expand the transaction by clicking the caret button on the left side of the transaction. Step 2. Click the cloud icon to add supporting documentation for the transaction. Click the Browse button and search for the receipt on your computer. Double-click on the file or click Open. Click Add. Step 3. Complete the following fields. Expense description, only use if you need additional space to explain the transaction, 500-character limit. Department. Your assigned department should automatically display. If not correct, contact the program administrator immediately. GL code. Choose from drop-down list. Contact the program administrator if the GL code you want to use is not listed. Line description. Provide a brief description for the transaction, 40-character limit. Step 4. Click to add a checkmark in the reviewed box, and click the disk icon to save. The checkmark turns into a lock. No revisions can be made to the data entered. Only the program administrator can unlock the file. The program administrator reviews the transaction to make sure it is within the guidelines of the G.L.W.A. PCard policy. Verifies all required fields are complete, and supporting documentation has been uploaded. If the supporting documentation does not meet the requirements mentioned earlier in this presentation, a program administrator will contact the cardholder with next steps. A link to the MasterCard website is found in the comment area below the video. If you accidentally select and upload the wrong receipt, it can easily be deleted. Deletion is only possible if you have not already fully reviewed the item and locked it. If you have already reviewed the item and it appears locked, please reach out to a program administrator using the contact information that is shown at the end of this presentation. Step 1. Click the receipt icon. Step 2. Click Delete. Step 3. Verify you want to delete the upload. You can now upload a new file. A knowledge check is a way of testing you on what you learned in this presentation. The next few slides will ask you questions related to the material that was just presented to you. Ready? Let's start. Let's see what you remember about receipts. On this slide is a true-false question. Is a handwritten receipt unacceptable documentation? Example of a handwritten receipt is shown on the right. Is this true or false? The answer is on the next slide. When submitting your receipt, is a handwritten receipt unacceptable? The answer is true. Handwritten receipts are accepted only when accompanied by a MasterCard receipt. Both of these requirements must be met before a receipt is considered acceptable supporting documentation. If only the handwritten receipt or only the MasterCard receipt is submitted, the receipt is considered unacceptable. On this slide is a multiple-choice question. On catering and restaurant receipts, meals should not exceed $5 per person, $10 per person, $15 per person, or $20 per person. The answer is on the next slide. On catering and restaurants receipts, meals should not exceed. The answer is $10 per person. Catering and restaurant receipts require not only an itemized receipt, but also a list of personnel who attended the event or meeting. Meals should not exceed $10 per person. Last question. On this slide is a true-false question. Cardholders can delete receipts on unlocked or locked transactions. Is this true or false? The answer is on the next slide. Cardholders can delete receipts on unlocked or locked transactions. The answer is false. Cardholders can only delete receipts on unlocked transactions. Contact a program administrator if you have already locked the item and need to delete. Did you get any questions wrong? If so, you may need to watch the presentation again. As a reminder for all cardholders, the PCard policy and all PCard documents can be found on the Treasury SharePoint site. All cards have the billing address listed here. Great Lakes Water Authority, 735 Randolph Street, Detroit, Michigan, 48226. The PCard administrator's email is pcard.administrator@glwater.org. The email address is listed in the comment area below the video. If you have any questions or issues, you can contact any PCard administrator. Caitlin Butson. Caitlin's phone number is 313-964-9124, and her email address is caitlin.butson@glwater.org. Edward Vanest. Edward's phone number is 313-964-9224, and his email address is edward.vanest@glwater.org. And Deirdre Henry. Deirdre's phone number is 313-964-9250, and her email address is deirdre.henry@glwater.org. A copy of this presentation is available in the comment area below the video. Thank you for participating in this presentation.